Okay, we will now talk about some more commercial launch capability options. And the first one we'll talk about is the NASA COTS program. I think Doug Cooke's going to make that presentation. You'll make it okay. And we've got 4 presentations in 1 hour and a half. And so if I've done my arithmetic right, it says we've got like 20 minutes, including questions per each. So we appreciate that.
Right. I'll try to keep this short because we should give the companies a chance to talk about what they're doing. We in the Exploration Systems Mission Directorate have the management of the commercial crew and cargo effort at NASA, known as COTS, and I guess we're looking for charts, but that is something that we've had in place, and it's an effort that we're proud of. We can go to the next chart. You can point back, and let's go ahead and go beyond that. I'm going to talk about these subjects. Let's go to the next one. You can point back in terms of national policy in space all the way back to the original Space Act in its promotion of commercial use of space. More recently, in 2004, with the Vision for Space Exploration, also known as National Space Exploration Policy, there was specific interest in promoting commercial participation in exploration. There was also talk about providing for pursuing the provision of transportation low Earth orbit by commercial capabilities. The Authorization Acts of 2005 and 2008 supported this, and so we've been on that path. If we go to the next chart, we established the Commercial Crew and Cargo Program down at Johnson Space Center in 2005 to lead this effort. It's a small office down there. And their objectives are to implement this space policy and to facilitate U.S. private industry demonstration of cargo and crew capabilities. A particular tenet of all this is that this effort is the development and demonstration of this kind of capability, and what NASA does in this approach is to invest in these developments. It's not a funded contract per se. These are Space Act agreements that we have, and we are investing in their capabilities. So as they move through them, and I'll talk a little bit more about how that's done. And so we have a goal of achieving safe, reliable, and cost-effective access to low Earth orbit and create a market environment for this type of capability. We go to the next chart. As a part of this, in the budget, we have had a $500 million bucket that we have applied to this capability, these investments. We have been through 2 competitions on this. We're actually, in terms of commercial crew and cargo, and in this case, it's cargo. We have 2 phases. The first phase is a development and demonstration phase where we are making those investments. The second phase is actually a procurement of these services once the capabilities are developed. And I believe Mike Sorferdini is going to talk about that second phase. In phase 1, in going back in history, in August of 2006, we selected 2 companies for funded Space Act agreements. One was SpaceX, and that was for an amount of $278 million over a period of years. We are still going through that. The money is tied to milestones and development of different types of milestones, both funding and technical. We also, at that time, selected rocket plane Kistler as a recipient at, I can't read the number, I believe it was $208 million, for another funded Space Act agreement. We actually terminated that later because they could not make the milestones, and then we had another solicitation, in which we awarded a Space Act agreement to Orbital Sciences in February of last year. So in phase one, we've had 2 different solicitations, and we now have 2 funded Space Act agreements on board that are progressing. And I'll leave the phase 2 procurement part of this to the final presentation, because they'll talk about that in more detail. We go to the next chart. So this is a diagram that talks about the COTS effort and the types of capabilities that we look to. And you hear about capability, COTS D and that sort of thing. So what we have is we have COTS A, which is external cargo delivery and disposal. We have COTS B, which is internal cargo delivery and disposal. We have COTS C, which is internal cargo delivery and return of cargo in that case. And then COTS D is commercial crew transport. So when you hear these terms, that's what they represent. And when we had the solicitations, the companies bid against those different capabilities, and they did not have to bid against all of them. So we had different approaches to how this would be done. We can go to the next one. So we have, as I said, 2 funded Space Act agreements. The one we selected first that's still on board is SpaceX. They bid at $278 million for the cargo part of this, and also in that proposal, they proposed crew capability at $308 million. It is with a Falcon 9 vehicle, with the Dragon crew and cargo development. We are funded actually for only the cargo part, so that's the part we are currently pursuing. If we go to the next one is Orbital Sciences, and once again we selected this last year. This was a $170 million award, once again tied to milestone payments, and it has a pressurized module that's based on the space station MPLM, the logistics module, and it has a unpressurized capability, and they launch out of Wallops. The SpaceX rocket is at pad 40C at Cape. So both of these have demonstrations that they get to, and that is as far as COTS, this part of the effort, COTS Phase 1 takes it. So we're once again in development and demonstration, and we reach culmination of that as these capabilities are demonstrated. So if we can go to the next one. We do have 2 unfunded Space Act agreements at this point, one with Space Dev and one with Planet Space, and we do interact with them, but these are unfunded, so we don't. But they are Space Act agreements, and we work with them. And next chart. Mm-hmm. So the next 2 charts you can't read, but I can't either in this case, but and I don't intend to. But this is for the committee. And for reference, these are what I've got listed on the next 2 pages are the milestones and the plan dates for those as of the different revs of the Space Act agreements, and it actually shows the amounts that are awarded with each milestone. These are negotiated in the Space Act agreement, and so we're stepping through those at this point. And for SpaceX, we have awarded. I believe it's about $234 million out of 278 at this point, and with Orbital Sciences, we're at 100 out of 170. So these represent milestones in progress on these efforts. So this is the way in which we invest in these capabilities. So with that, I want to move on to just another short topic on this subject. The next slide. In the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act, exploration received $400 million. It's allocated to exploration. 150 of this is planned for the commercial crew and cargo effort. and it's shown delineated here. 80 million is actually for a solicitation in order to get proposals on developing capabilities that will make progress toward the crew capability. There's $42 million to accelerate the development of a docking system that would help in terms of the crew capability and support of space station. There's $20 million to advance some of the work in getting to confidence in the capability for as a part of the cargo development. And then there's an $8 million piece of this that's allocated to working on collecting and putting in one place the human rating, a set of human rating requirements. Right now we have a human rating requirements document, but it has fingers into a lot of different requirements and standards across the agency. This would be an effort to try to make that a more collected
We'll do that.